All right. Well, we're recording. Nate, thanks for joining me. This is Eric here for Sheridan Sun Podcasts.
This is Nate. I'm lucky Eric invited me today to join him on this podcast.
Well, yeah, you're my first guest. I have to come up with a cool radio name because everybody on radio has a cool name. So I was thinking about capital E.
Capital E.
Yeah, capital. It kind of implies leader.
Yeah.
I was gonna be Big E, but I was like, wait a second. Every rapper is Big something.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
not only that, but like Big E sounds like Biggie Smalls, Big E, even though mine's kind of different. So I was thinking about capital E. I don't know. I pitched
I
it
think
to.
Capital's good. I think Big E, because if you hear Big E and you meet Eric in real life, he's not really that big. He's kind of on the short side. So yeah.
Well, it's like kind of like when you're playing video games. Crash Bandicoot. He's got an enemy named Tiny, but the guy is 300 feet tall.
That's true.
But thank you for joining me today.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate it, and we'll see what happens here. So I guess we'll start off by talking. As you know, you've seen my Instagram.
Yep.
You
Long
see
time contributor.
Yes, and thank you, by the way, for that. A lot of people see it and kind of pass it off, which I think, why not? Just unless you can't answer the question, just why not answer? Just give an answer,
Yeah, exactly.
What are you so secretive about?
Exactly. What do you got to hide?
So for today's question, is actually one that could spawn a huge debate.
Oh, it could.
So today's question that we're going to talk about, and we'll dive into it for you, is who has a harder life, men or women? Now, before I read the statistics that I have here,
Okay.
what do you think, and why?
What do I think? Okay. So a little bit of background. I think we have a kind of a weird atmosphere actually when it comes to discussing these kind of issues. But I think this comes from how it's contextualized in, like, say, the modern kind of like media and just like popular culture itself in general, which I really try to like stay away and avoid. I look at both issues, and I've had members, friends, family members. Wait, are we recording?
Yep. Yeah, recording's still going good.
Oh, okay, good, cool. Yeah, so it's a little difficult to like talk about these issues because I think either way there's going to be a little bit of nuance that you just can't grab from your personal experience alone. From my personal experience, and the thing is too, this is a really complicated question. I think there are definitely issues on both sides. These are very prevalent.
Okay, I definitely agree with that, 100%.
I would say, so like for example of an issue, I don't know, this is something I was coming from my own experience. When I was living in Hamilton, it was really easy. I found that and this is when I was like a teenager, like 10 years ago or so, but like women would be able to like get jobs, like say as like a cashier or like a clerk or like a bag, not a bag lady, but like the people who put your food away and stuff in bags and stuff like that. And they're looking for a very specific type. That might be because of the way the owner was, but so I would say in that situation where I was trying to find a job at that age, I think I had a hard time doing it myself as a man. I think a lot of people do. It's a time where it's really hard to find a job, but yeah, I would say that. And the thing is too, these issues again, we really got to look at the difference of it. Like, so like, what's a man issue? Okay, I would say one man's issue. This is something I was thinking about on the way over. So I'm kind of like, ugh. I think there's a lot more ambiguity towards men in popular culture. Like, our role is not as defined in certain kind of aspects. I think in terms of like purpose, because it's like it's paralysis by freedom. You can do a lot of things, but like what can you kind of do until you kind of afford to like put you in this kind of slot. I think with some women, it's very easy to like narrow women into these positive and negative kind of slots, and that can affect their employment. That can affect how they're received in terms of groups and stuff. But I think with men, I think there's a lot more kind of like ambiguity that I think men kind of like struggle with. And so, for example, again, like like, you know, you can look at a guy and say, like, you know, like, what's that guy doing? Well, he's good at leading people, but okay, what's he going to lead people to? And again, coming from, like, a city like Hamilton, like, whereas a lot of women, it was very popular for them to become, like, PSWs, like, you know, taking care of people that were, you know, kind of sick, people that need, like, you know, some kind of assistant kind of living and stuff. Some men were doing it, but they just weren't as frequent, I found, doing it and such. Or, you know, you would be defined, you'd be constrained to, like, you know, one thing. It's like, okay, go work in, like, you know, Del Fasco, work in a factory or something, and that's it, you know. And it's like, okay, well, what if I don't want to do that? Well, it's like, oh, tough luck, buddy.
Yeah, I know. I totally hear you on that. If I were to pick the two things that mainly come to my mind when I define the difference between the two,
Yeah.
I would say men have a way harder time. There's this stigma, I guess, about men being sensitive or having some kind of mental illness, and I think in that regards, men have it a lot harder. People are often a lot more sympathetic to women, I find, in cases like that. So I think that's a very, very difficult challenge for men to kind of have to overcome. For women, the number one thing that pops into my mind is giving birth. I couldn't imagine having to do that.
Oh, no, yeah.
You know, like that alone is tough. And women also deal with a lot of, you know, they're often the victim of, you know, sexual harassment a lot more. And I imagine that's got to be very, very, very difficult.
Oh, yeah. What was the last time someone came up and, like, you know, harassed you?
It probably happened. I can't think of the top of my head, you know.
Yeah.
But in that sense, I think women have it harder. I think it obviously depends on person to person.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, overall, I think that men overall have a more challenging life. I do. I don't think that women necessarily have it easy. I don't think anybody really has it easy.
Yeah.
But I think overall, I think there's just more of a challenge being a guy. Obviously, traditionally.
So, like, in like what kind of like situation, like for the viewers, like how old are you?
25. I'll be 26 actually. What's today? Saturday? I'll be 26 on next February or next Friday. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
So inside of a week, I'll be so right now I'm 25. Still a young man.
So you're a 25-year-old guy. Okay. So like, what situations have you personally seen? Like were you seeing this kind of unfairness towards men? Like, yeah.
I really don't know how to answer that. I mean, I know I've seen it before, but when at the top of my head, I just...
It's kind of one of those things I think we as guys, we take for granted, you know. It's like, you know, if someone's like, you know, like busting our balls, it's like, you know, we just roll with it. But like sometimes it can, like, you know, I don't want to say there's a maliciousness to it, but like, you know, sometimes someone's trying to...
We got a little bit of an audience out there just walked by, looked in. Sorry, that caught my eye.
Yeah.
It's very distracting.
See, right there, ADHD. ADHD.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, I think a lot of people have struggles, right? Regardless of who you are. I just think, on average, you know, guys are, you're not allowed to be sensitive. You gotta be tough. I feel like that's often the stereotype. Not everyone's like that, especially in this day and age. It's not that. You know, it's not as bad as it used to be.
Oh, no, yeah, no, that's definitely, like, a classic kind of, like, stereotypical, you know...
But, like,
yeah.
Here's an example that comes to mind. You know, I know, I've heard situations of girls that just because they're girls, they can make money off just talking to lonely dudes online.
Okay, so that's interesting. Is that a issue? Okay.
Like, I've heard of girls that just talk to people.
Yeah.
And these girls will bring in thousands of dollars a week.
Yeah.
To do nothing. To do jack shit, really. You're talking to some, which, by the way, has got to be one of the most pathetic things to do. To text them, to not even meet the person, you just text them and have a conversation with. Not even sexual related. And you're going to cough up $1,000 a week?
Yeah.
That's, you know, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, unless there's some site that I don't know, you know, some old lady weird site, guys don't... You know, have that, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Guys don't have that luxury, I guess. Because I would love to sit at home, text a bunch of dudes who I'm never going to meet, not sexual things anyway. Hell, for $1,000, I'd text sexual stuff. But like...
Oh, yeah.
And it's like they're getting paid out the ass. And it's like, I just... I
guess it's a market for it, because I mean, I think like...
Well, sex, I guess, right?
Yeah, sex. Like, it's like, you know, like... there are like I think we've met more than a few guys in our experiences that are that lonely. Like it's hard to meet a girl, so it's like yeah, you know what? I'm gonna pay money. I'm gonna do it. But I think that's kind of I'm not trying to use the double-edged sword. But you look at the silver lining. I think it's like if a girl wanted that, she could just go down the street and just like, hey, I'll talk to you. Like if she wants someone to talk to or she wants someone to talk to her, I think a girl has the advantage of just being able to do that. Because supply and demand, I think with there's a lot of guys that would just be willing to listen or just be willing to say, if you just put a girl in front of them, if they were on the other end of the situation, you see what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally understand.
Yeah.
Like for another example could be like, for example, Tinder.
Oh yeah.
You've heard of Tinder?
Don't. Okay, go on. This is actually really exciting. Okay.
Yeah, I joined for a bit. I decided, I'll dabble.
Yeah.
So I dabbled, and once I got a match once in a while, and I'd be psyched when it would make my day sometimes, especially if the girl was cute. It's like, damn, I could have that if I wanted, if she was around. Holy.
Jeez.
But you have to imagine.
Yeah.
Girls that look, girls probably have multiple matches daily. It's nothing new to them.
Oh yeah, no, the dating app market, it definitely swings in favor of women.
When it comes to dating, yeah, because when it comes to dating, girls have such a higher percentage of connecting with people and having different chances, whereas
they have a wider variety of to choose from.
Whereas you could be desperate and want to. I don't know your situation, but you could want a girlfriend, and it could take you a long time because you're just it's not as easy for guys. You have to imagine for every girl you're talking to, she's talking to 5 guys, and I'm not saying that she's being a hoe or being a slut. That's not what I'm implying. I'm just saying in that sense, the market is it's a lot easier for them.
I can say from my perspective too. I tried Tinder. I tried Bumble.
I tried Bumble too.
What did you think of it? What did you think of the variety of girls?
For example, there's a perfect example with Bumble itself.
Yeah.
The guys you can't message first as a guy. It's only the girls.
Uh-huh.
There's never gonna be a site where it's only the guys can message first. You know what I mean? Like
that's true. That's true.
So it's like even society knows that it's easier for for women to find somebody. If you have to cough, go ahead.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. Sure. People cough.
Big potato earlier.
This is a real show. I don't have to edit around. Cough. People cough. We cough, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you got to fart too, please feel free.
I could try, but I don't think you want me to.
Well, maybe not in this confined little box that we're in.
Oh, now it's a challenge. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, I think looking again at the situation with like Bumble and Tinder, girls are just swamped. Girls are just swamped when like they go on their Tinder. I talked to my sister. We have a lot of these kind of conversations. Like she gets like a bunch. She'll get like 7 people messaging, and I'll talk to her, and it's like I'll get like 2. I'll get 2 people messaging me back.
Oh, lucky you! I get 2 every 6 months.
Oh, jeez.
I got no luck. They see my size 5'7" and they go, "Fuck this."
Yeah, for me, they go on my profile. I tell people that what's a fun date for you? Boxing drills. Yeah.
That's what somebody said?
No, that's what I say. Yeah, I'll hold the pads and you punch.
Oh, okay. That's that's pretty funny. I thought you meant like somebody said boxing, like somebody was serious.
Oh yeah. No.
Like she wanted to do the boxing drill. I'm like, interesting.
She wanted to do it. That'd be kind of cool. It's
unique,
healthy and healthy,
stuff. Unique, different.
Yeah, I would not do a date where it's like we go in the ring. That's a little strange.
Well, yeah, any girl that would be down, I'll scrap you on date 1, right? There's gonna be plenty of time for scrapping later on in the relationship if it was to come to that. Yeah, but let me just read you the statistics here.
Okay.
That I have on that specific question.
Okay.
Let me just pull it up here. It takes a second. Now the poll is still running, so if you do by chance hear this and you have me on Instagram, feel free to jump in and cast your vote. But as of now, sorry, it's a little bit slow. As of now, okay. So I have had only 22 people vote on this one. Not a lot of people.
Yeah, and they're mostly people our age, right?
Mostly, yeah. Most of my Instagram followers are millennials, unfortunately.
No cougars here. Okay.
No cougar. There might be one or two, but they usually avoid my polls. They're not interested.
No.
So, 36% of people believe that men do. That leaves 64% believing that women do.
Wait, so those numbers again, that was 62...
64.
64 for men, yeah.
And 64 percent of people think women have a harder life.
Oh, 64%
yeah,
think
and
women have a
36%
harder
think men do.
Okay.
Of the 22 that have voted.
Okay.
Yeah. And every single, I'm not going to say names here for, confidentiality reasons, but of the 8 people that voted men do, only one of them was a girl.
I see.
Now, jumping over to the women have it harder. Most of them were girls. There was actually 3 guys that voted. This is so far. That voted for the women. So that just kind of goes to show what people think. I guess overall, based off of just this.
Yeah.
Which is anecdotal evidence.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of sad, really. It's like, everyone's rooting for their home team. That's
what it seems like overall.
Yeah,
So it's almost like, is there a little bit of a biased perspective going on?
Yeah, like is there can we get along? Can we connect? Is this why there's so many people on Tinder, because we can't look at the other side's problems?
Yeah, exactly. And then it goes to wonder, are the ones that voted for the for the opposite sex in this situation, are the guys soy boys, and as a girl just, what do you call them, tomboys?
Tomboys?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Maybe one of those girls who overcompensates for being a woman, so she just tries to go over her way to be tough. Have you met girls like that before? Like the very, very tough girls where it's like in your face tough?
Oh, like they're really trying to prove something?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? I would say, so I've been at the college for around like 4 or 5 years now. I'm a relic around here. Not as much in the college setting, which I think is very important. Now, in my small town, and when I've gone to other small towns, I've seen it on occasion. I've been around some people. I had a friend, and the girlfriend he was dating was really trying to like just prove something. Like it was, I don't want to get into specifics, but she was kind of compensating in a way, and it seemed to me a little bit like a projection kind of thing. I'm not trying to shit talk this individual at all or anything, because for every girl I've seen trying to do this, I've met some guys who've tried to do this, who really try to like, it's like, yo, I got to prove I'm a man. I got to prove this. So where was I going with that? So I've met individuals on both sides. I think it's a personality trait that's not necessarily focused around like gender. I think, like, for example, it's like, yo, I want to be the best Smash Bros player, and they just try to overcompensate for something else in their life, and it's like, boom, they pick a target. It's like, okay, Smash Bros, manliness, femininity, being the best tech wizard, especially among musicians as well. There's always this like trying to race to like trying to do each other. And I think the people that are focused when it comes to like this level of overcompensation, they're obviously wounded in some way. I knew a guy, I met a couple guys. It's like, they're really struggling to get a relationship together. So hence the overcompensation of being a man comes out. A little bit with women. I don't know. I went to this one party where there's this one girl. She wasn't overcompensating again for like trying to be like feminine or anything, but it was like she was older than us. I think I'd call her a cougar. Not a knock against her or anything. She seemed like a nice person. But again, it was just overcompensating with trying to be with it. So
okay, could that have been maybe an age thing?
Definitely an age thing. Definitely
like trying to fit in, be hip with the. I'm assuming it was a college party that you were at, and this cougar was, or was it just a?
Oh, it was just like a typical hot couch party. Everyone's chilling on the couch.
Oh, like a wide variety of ages. It wasn't like a college party, and then there was this one cougar that showed up.
Yeah, no. This wasn't a college party
at
at all.
See, that's what I'm envisioning. I was gonna say, well, maybe he's trying to be hip with the the young guys.
Yeah. Sorry, I feel like we're getting away from your question though. What was your question again? Sorry.
Well, overall, I want to know what you think. In your opinion, if somebody was to hold a gun to your head and say, Nate, you got to answer. What do you think, guys? Who has life harder, guys or girls, and why?
Yeah, I think looking at the polls again, what we're seeing is a lot of people are voting for their sides, and I think we can only just go by our experiences. In my personal experience, I grew up in a pretty balanced household, I would say. I would say there's kind of equality of difficulty. We weren't really allowed to like go out of the house. If we were, I'd always have to take my sister around. I always had to be there, like, you know, escort her place and stuff, make sure she got there safely, which is kind of frustrating to her because it's like you want that independence in a way. And it's frustrating to me because it's like, well, I want that independence too, you know? It's like, you know, let me just be. You know what I mean?
No, I hear that. I hear that for sure.
You have a sibling like that where you experienced that, or?
No, not. I got siblings, but never really had to, never went through anything. My sister's, like, she's pretty independent.
Yeah.
She can take care of herself. She's a mom of 2, gonna be 3 soon.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm hoping, I got 2 beautiful nephews.
Nice.
And I'll either have a third or I'll have my first niece. So we'll see, we'll see what happens with that.
Okay. So I think I would say in a college kind of setting, I think guys I think it's some difficulty with guys, I think.
I think there's definitely, like, in my opinion, and like I said, it could be biased, I think guys, but mainly, this has opened my eyes, maybe because I am a guy. But in my opinion, we're the ones that usually have to do all the harder work. Usually. Like, traditionally, right? We do, we are more likely to be in a violent situation. Girls have to always deal with, you never know. For a girl, I can't imagine walking to your car at night and having to look over your shoulder for 2 seconds. That's got to be difficult. That's definitely something that they have.
Well, so what you're saying is men have to deal with violent situations, but you're also saying
we're more likely to just be minding our business at a bar and have a drunk asshole want to scrap us. Whereas girls, I'm sure it's happened, but like,
Yeah.
And I feel like.
What bars did you go to?
It's never actually happened to me specifically.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But like I've heard multiple stories of people that have gotten into fights, and I've seen it happen of somebody wanting to just start shit.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Doesn't mean that shit's gonna necessarily be started, but like
no, for sure.
No, I know girls can be catty.
So yeah, so you ever been to like Hess Village? Do you know anything about Hess Village?
In Hamilton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to a couple clubs down that area. I went to Sizzle.
Okay.
Sizzle. I'm not a big club guy.
Me neither.
Which we can actually use that into the next topic if you want.
Yeah, I'd love to.
I was
just gonna say, I think with the club situation. So I used to go to this bar at the end of the street of the club district, but at the club district there was always something, and it was usually guys that would get really wasted. They just like fight each other, like just like get too many drinks in them.
And guys are way more. I mean, yeah, there's the odd girl situation where that happens, but that's more of a guy thing. Guys more likely have to worry about probably getting jumped if they go out to certain events.
Events too. Well, here again, it's
on
like,
average,
it's like like for example, I'd go to like a lot of concerts, and you get people that are trying to compensate, like I'm the most musical, I'm the most metal,
yeah, and it's like
the most punk.
So you know what I mean? Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Who
like
cares?
who cares? Yeah. So, but
I'm not the best in the world or best at probably at anything, and I don't think I've ever been the best at anything when I'm in a room with a bunch of people, with more than like 10 people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Unless I'm in a room with my nephew and a bunch of kids, and I win at being the tallest.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Because I don't know. I think different situation. So some people might say, "Oh, girls have it harder because they're always being hit on by disgusting guys," which is true.
Yeah.
But somebody from the opposite side might say, "Well, must be nice to get hit on."
Oh, you think? Well, my one buddy.
Because it's like I barely get it, and it's like when it does happen, it's like damn.
Yeah, it's surprising.
Great.
It's like whoa. It's like you almost don't know what to do.
Yeah, so it's almost like is it me or I don't understand.
Like,
but I guess who knows? Maybe if I had to taste that every single day, and it was girls who were weird and creepy, and it was them who were the weird, creepy ones who could because I've heard stories of some of the stuff guys say to girls, and it's like wow, man.
Well, think of the
that's
pretty
not
boys.
We're not all like that.
Yeah, like think of the pretty boys. Like think like you right now. You just fit some weird girls, like not weird, there's nothing weird, but you just fit like someone's fetish, like it's just like, hey, I kind of like that like kind of like ratty tea, and that's the only thing they like objectify.
I do have to get rid of that. I do have to shave. I should have went out in the mall today. I worked at the mall today, and I just this is embarrassing. No wonder people were laughing at me. This scruff. Yours at least looks cool.
Oh yeah, no, this is full. This is like really untamed and wild.
But we're almost at we're actually 25 minutes into it.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
Wow.
See how fast time goes?
Yeah.
So I was going to say that maybe we'll bring up another topic. But you know what?
No, I'm good for another one. I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Well, since this is the first one, why don't we see how it turns out?
Sure.
We had a good topic, good debate.
Yeah.
But just quickly before we
Okay,
wrap
if
up,
I had to say
if you had to choose, you got the gun to your head,
immediately,
Nate.
and I had to like give some hardcore reasons. Do you want some hardcore reasons?
Don't need
for backings?
don't really need reasons right
Don't
now. I
really
just
need
want to know
reasons?
where you stand. And if you can't give an answer, just say I can't give an answer. Because
Alright.
25 minutes for our first show.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to not be able to give an answer. I would say, I don't think I could give an answer that I could like sum up in like 10 seconds. Like give me like 2 hours, maybe. But yeah, if I had to say
to really explain everything, because it's really a lot. There's
a lot of nuance to it. It's very situational.
a lot of variables to take in for sure.
Yeah.
When you're coming up with that answer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me today. We'll see if we can come up with something else today before we go home.
Okay.
But for this specific episode, we're gonna have to wrap it up. This is a very good first episode. Thanks again so much for coming out here.
No problem.
And I guess we'll see how this turns out. And for anyone who does end up listening, thank you for tuning in. And I'll once we get more established, I'll start leaving information where I can be contacted. And feel free to send me requests at any time, whether social media or even on my phone number.
Yeah, follow his Instagram. Follow it.
Yeah, it's Eric Nielsen 93. You can't miss me. It's me and my nephew in a picture. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Capital E signing off. Again, thank you to my guest Nate.
No problem.
And everyone, have a good night.